we are bringing diversity of opinion. There is diversity of opinion on Fox News. You may disagree with that. We have many liberals there, many liberal invited. We have liberal commentators, as we have conservative ones.
Who are your liberal commentators?
Alan Combs, for one. Greta Van Susteren. It's in the eye of the beholder, I guess.
What they'll try to put on the appearance of being balanced, but really kind of a mismatch. You'll have a Hannity and Colmes show where Hannity is a really good-looking, clean-cut, all-American kind of guy, and his counterpart is a little squirrely-looking, frankly. And you kind of say, he's the liberal, well, maybe he's not so smart after all. And it sends a subtle message, I think.
You're a good liberal. I agree.
Oh, good liberal, good liberal.
A lot of the times, the liberals that they get to appear on are either faux liberals, like I would use Susan Estridge as an example of that, a person who is brought on who essentially agrees with the person on the right in a lot of cases.
I am your biggest liberal friend. I do take a little heat. People sometimes say to me, do you really like Sean Hannity?
What's not to like? What does that mean?
I thought I was Sean's biggest liberal friend.
I love you all. I love all my liberal friends.
Or they would just bring on people who were very weak, people who were not well-known people.
We can learn from history because if we don't, we're condemned to repeat it.
You're not going to get the truth and the facts. You're going to get one guy, Clark, accusing Bush, saying Clinton really, giving him a pass. Then you're going to get the Bush administration attacking Clark. You're not going to get the truth, Marianne. You weren't there. You don't know.
Right. You're probably right about that.
Even the people who are supposedly liberal in those panel discussions, they know that to challenge the guests and the other hosts too forcefully, they'll certainly find someone else to stand in your place if that's the case.
You're spinning now. I'm not right wing. I believe in global warming.
We looked at Special Report's one-on-one interviews. They're once a day. We studied 25 weeks of the one-on-one guest who appeared on Special Report from late June through mid-December of 2003. Republicans appeared 5 times as often as Democrats on one-on-one newsmaker interviews. That means that Republicans made up 83% of the partisan guests, while Democrats made up just 17%. In addition, the few Democrats that were interviewed for the show tended to be centrist and conservative Democrats, often brought on to affirm Bush administration policies. So what does this all mean? Well, if Fox were the bastion of fairness and balance that it claims to be, we'd see a lot more balance in this prominent interview segment on the network's most prestigious show. Instead, the numbers indicate that Brit Hume and Special Report choose their guests based on political considerations rather than news judgment.
That's here on the Fox News Channel, the network America trusts for fair and balanced news.
My criticism of Fox News isn't that it's a conservative channel. It's the consumer fraud of fair and balanced. It's nothing of the sort.
You pitch a story in any given editorial meeting that didn't meet the criteria that they had explained to you, and you got a thumbs down.
When you have this executive vice president and those around him who are consistently saying, no, we're not going to do that story. No, this story's bad, this story's good. And it becomes very clear to all the bureau chiefs, to everybody involved who have been there over a period of years, there are certain kinds of stories it's not even worth bringing up. There are other kinds of stories that management's going to love.
Fox News Channel's stated practice was to embarrass, humiliate, challenge, or disrupt whatever Jesse Jackson did. We were told on many occasions that he was one of our targets. Anything we could do or say that would embarrass him, discredit him, we were encouraged to find the information, and we were encouraged to report the information.
I did a piece on immigration, and I thought it was poignant to tell the stories of these people and all of the things that they had to go through to get citizenship, and how we take for granted how really blessed we are to be born with it. And the line that I used in describing their efforts was folks seeking citizenship earned, not born, suggesting that, hey, they really want citizenship because they've got to go through all of these motions. But managing editor was very angry. Says, what do these people earn? They haven't earned a thing. They're just here for a free ride. They're just here trying to take advantage of all of our freebies and I mean, it was just, he just laid waste to the idea that these people were hardworking.
It was very specifically said, we need to be fairer to the Bush administration or to the Republicans than anybody else in the media would be. But that was always understood as sort of a code for lay off. I have first-hand knowledge of a reporter who was basically yelled and screamed at by executives because that reporter was asking tough questions of James Baker at a news conference. It was a news conference that was being carried live. James Baker was saying, we want to count every vote, and the reporter was peppering him with questions like, well, wait a second, if you want to count every vote, why not go back and find the votes that were not counted because of problems with the Chad? The reporters in New York thought that this was a little too confrontational of a style. Never mind that when Warren Christopher got up there for Gore, the questions were equally tough. There were no complaints about the questioning of Christopher. But because the questions of James Baker were so tough, that reporter was pulled off the story and said, we can't trust you anymore. You didn't handle this story very well. Go back to Washington.
Ronald Reagan's birthday was, for Fox News Channel viewers, something akin to a holy day. This was Ronald Reagan's birthday. And so my assignment was to go to the Reagan Presidential Library in Simi Valley, California, and to do live shots from before dawn until dark. There weren't very many people at the Presidential Library. There wasn't a celebration in any organized way going on. You know, there was a class of fourth graders who came to the library that day to take the tour, and they were lined up and they sang happy birthday. But that was pretty much the extent of the celebration. They saw my first 3 or 4 live shots, and Mr. Moody called in to say, what is he doing out there? Apparently my live shots weren't celebratory enough, and I was frankly at a bit of a loss as to what to say or do to make it seem like there was a big celebration.
Since dawn, they've been streaming in from all over the country and even parts of Canada and Mexico.
So I got in trouble for that one. I got in big trouble for that one. In fact, I was suspended.
What you will see, of course, is intensive discussion about what we call the wedge issues. You'll hear, affirmative action. You'll hear abortion. You'll hear certainly gay rights. God in separation of church and state issues will be on television every single day.
I think this gay marriage thing is going to be an enormous presidential issue. But there again, we have to be fair and balanced. I mean, we can't, run with that.
The stampede of same-sex couples to the altar has accelerated.
President Bush says he's deeply troubled by the hundreds of
2,000 same-sex couples engaged in
2,300 and counting. That's the number of
same-sex couples hoping to get
same-sex couples wanting to say same-sex marriage.
Their job, which is what the right-wing Republicans want to do, is to divide America up, ignore the important economic, healthcare, environmental issues, and they do that extremely successfully.
They did start up on gay marriage, but I think that they got sort of blindsided. They all of a sudden couldn't show the usual footage they used to show, because they used to love to show the footage, of course, the parades and the black leather and, the drag queens. Then they had, very kind of normal-looking, dumpy, middle-aged couples getting married and smooching on the steps of City Hall. So I've noticed a certain kind of zest going out of the gay marriage thing, but the opposite, where they've picked up the slack, is on anything to do with religion, anything to do with the Ten Commandments, anything to do with God.
Why is Jesus so popular right now?
Well, I think it depends on who you talk to. I think a lot of people would say that one of the reasons that he's very popular is that Mel Gibson's movie has come out.
George W. Bush, because of all this, he wants to see it, and I'm sure they will set up a special screening there at the White House.
Oh, sure. Well, he's a devout Christian.
Right.
Apparently he prays daily.
Do they think it's about just a movie, just entertainment, or do they think that there's really something bigger at work?
Well, I think they think that there's something bigger at work. September 11th threatened people, and people looked to Jesus for comfort. But number two, a line was drawn around the world between two kinds of religions, two kinds of societies.
Freedom is not this country's gift to the world. Freedom is the Almighty's gift to every man and woman in this world.
Boy, couldn't you just see the elite media tremble over that one? The president knows evoking the deity will anger the secular media. He doesn't care. Talking points applauded.
They're going to push God very, very hard, particularly going up into Bush's reelection.
All of us working together can change America one soul at a time.
The Christian fundamentalist movement is one that believes in we're right, you're wrong, no matter what. And I saw a lot of that at Fox. We're right, you're wrong, no matter what.